Hello, good morning, and welcome to another video. So in today's video, we are going to talk a little bit more about WGU, about the Teachers College specifically. So if you're not in the Teachers College but going to WGU, this video might be helpful for you. It will be extremely helpful for you if you are in one of the teacher degree programs. It will be even more helpful for you if you plan to accelerate through any of those programs. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. Now, I'm going to talk about this class specifically because it was one of the classes that was harder. And what I mean by harder is it has more material that you need to read through. It is also one of the classes that has both an objective assessment and a performance assessment. So when I say objective assessment, just for ease in conversation, I guess we're just going to call it the proctored exam. So it has a proctored exam and it has tasks that you need to complete. This class specifically only has 2 of each, but I want to tell you a bit more about how to do the proctored exams, just to help you out a little bit. So I do have some notes here. The first thing, like I said, this class it's a child psychology class. We'll leave it at that. The first thing is it has, like I said, an objective assessment and a performance assessment. And the thing that I like to do, and this will be good for all of the class in general, this is just my advice, so take it for what you will, is to focus on the proctored exam first. Because if I can focus on the proctored exam and get the more stressful part out the way, the performance tasks are just a matter of setting time aside and really getting the work done. The objective assessments really are testing to see if you know the information. And if you have, a hard time with tests, and people call it testing anxiety, I don't really believe that's the word, because if you know the information, you know the information. If not, then you don't. So I would focus more on the proctored exam first. So this is how I prepare to study. First thing is I will say, make sure that you take time to read everything. And I know that might not seem so fun. You might be like, man, I know some of this stuff already. Before you take the exam, this is a study tool that can be used for a multitude of tests. Like I used this strategy also when I took my state exam for my massage license. Read everything. Make sure you read the material in its entirety, okay? That way, and keep this in mind as well. When you're reading, you are not reading to remember every word that's on the paper. You are reading to gain a general understanding and knowledge of what it is that you're reading, okay? And that happens when you read. So even though you might be reading it and you might not understand it kind of like as you're reading it verbatim, it's going to begin to pull all the pieces together as you go throughout the text. So make sure that you read everything will be my first tip. Next thing, again, like I said, very annoying because some of the videos are just annoying, okay? But my next tip would be to listen to all the videos that they have. So every assignment that they have like within the unit, whether it's like bringing you to another article and they want you to read an article, or it's a video, listen to those videos. Why am I saying listen to those videos? Because sometimes, a lot of time, especially in this course, the instructor in the video gives you a lot of like acronyms and just ways of remembering certain material that maybe you wouldn't have thought of by yourself, okay? And when you listen to it, paired with reading it, you don't realize how much information you actually gain an understanding over and you actually are intaking. So I will highly suggest, okay, that you listen to the videos, even if they're annoying. Even if you need to get up and do something else, just have the video playing, listen to the video. Alright, so the next thing is, how do you kind of pace things a bit more swiftly as you go through the course? And this is going to be determined by how much time you can set aside to do the studying. And when I say study in this case, I do mean reading. Okay, so how much time can you spend reading, and reading in a way that you're actually able to comprehend what it is that you're reading, and listening to the videos. How much time can you set aside to do those things will determine how swiftly you can move through it. I will say that for this course, it has 5 units, and within the units, there's modules. So there's a total of 10 modules. So there's quite a bit of information to read through. So how swiftly can you do that? I did the whole thing in under a week. And when I say under a week, I just mean under 7 days. So I did in between 1 and 7 days of reading. So you can do that as well if you're able to, like I said, read it swiftly, set aside as much time to read. And let me just throw in there that I don't do absolutely nothing throughout the day. I have a job, like I have other stuff to do through the day. So don't make an excuse as to why you can't set aside time to read. You absolutely can. Like I said, there were 10 modules total. So how can you pace things out a bit quicker? Well, that will be determined by how much you want to read. So what I would do is, I told you guys in that other video, like they make these little, so there's like a little chart that shows you how swiftly you can read through this material. I believe the projected time to finish this course was 7 weeks. I don't know why you would need to take 7 weeks to go through these materials. Maybe, I don't know. I can't tell you. If you have worked with children before, this course will be a bit easier for you to read and comprehend. Like if you've been in the field before, you should be able to get it done in just as much time as I did or less. If you've never worked in the field, I still can't see it taking 7 weeks. I believe that they give these very long time frames for people who want to just take their time and mosey through the information. If you're watching this video because you want to accelerate, you can accelerate and it will not take 7 weeks. Like, girl, you can get about 6-7 classes done in 7 weeks. That's a little bit ridiculous, honestly. But hey, that's the time frame that they give you. The way that you change the time frame is see how quickly you can get through the material. And I think I just mentioned that there are study guides. If I didn't mention that, there is, when you go through the units, at the end of some of the units, you can print out like a study guide. Now, if I'm honest with you, I don't know if I said this, I did not do the study guides. All of the other things that I did do. I did print out the study guides, but I didn't need them because after I took the assessment, which I'll tell you about, I was like, let's go ahead and take this test. It's not that hard. So let's move to the next. Here's the next thing, and that is to take all of the quizzes that are in unit, especially if you're struggling with the information. So as you read, go and take the unit, the end of the quiz that's at the end quiz that's at the end of unit. Take that quiz as you're reading. So that way you know, do I need to read? Do I need to go back in the chapter? Or if you got the wrong answer and you look at it and like, okay, I did want to choose that answer first. And I do know the information. I just chose the wrong answer. Okay. If you just totally kind of like failed out, like just bombed the thing, I would suggest that you go back and read the material that you missed. But these end of unit quizzes are a very good marker to see, like, are you actually getting the information? And I highly suggest that you take them. And then within the units, there are also like just little questions at the bottom. I would suggest that you do those too. So be very interactive with the study points that are in the unit, and it will help you out great. The next thing is, I mentioned this before, there are cohorts and Facebook groups and all that kind of stuff. If I'm honest with you, you don't need that. You really don't need that. If you're one of these people, if you're in the teachers college specifically, let me talk to you. You're planning to teach other people. You're planning to teach children, adults, whatever. You're planning to teach them. So I don't understand how you could plan to teach someone and then you not understand the basis of teaching yourself. And that would be to learn how you learn. Okay. So with learning how you learn, this is the thing that's going to help you to get through the course material. I don't think that all the time that you spend reading all these forums and talking back and forth with people, you could spend that time reading your material. You could spend that time learning how you learn, because you are the one who has to take the assessment. So I want you to keep this in mind when you get, scheduling all these meetings, and it's a waste. It's wasting time. Now, like I say, if you absolutely need the help, like let's say there's math or just a subject area that you're not very fluent in, that you need a bit of extra assistance, there are other I don't know how you want to call it. There are other learning opportunities, like learning helps, like little workshops that are like self-guided. No one's talking to you. You're kind of like learning, like, what do you call it? Like a writing center where you go in and you take little assessments and it says, hey, you need to work on this and you need to work on this. And then it takes you through like little modules and you learn more about how to write. If you need that kind of help, get that kind of help so that you're actually learning the tools that you need. But just to sit down and converse with people about how hard this class was, so hard, oh, it took me so long to get through, is really a waste of time. The time that you spend doing that, you could actually go ahead and pass the class. Okay. Now, Quizlet is the next thing. I love Quizlet. Like I said, I've used Quizlet before when I took like state board exams. So I love Quizlet. this class specifically, and I could imagine that some of the other classes as well, they have the Quizlet. This is the class that I use the Quizlet for specifically, okay? Because like I said, it was quite a bit of information to read. And when you go through those Quizlet things, even if you don't remember the answer, you are getting the information, okay? So Quizlet, the instructor, when they send you out the little, like all the tools that you can use for this course, they have the Quizlet link in there. If you can't find it that way, all you have to do is go on Quizlet and type in the course name. It's going to pop up. Quizlet is perfect. And how I use a Quizlet, like let's say this is how I used it, okay? You're waiting. So let's go ahead and talk about the pre-assessment while we're here. So the pre-assessment, what I did was I said, you know what? Okay, I took the quizzes. I'm good. I did all my reading. I'm actually ready to take my pre-assessment. They won't let you schedule your exam until you take the pre-assessment. So I said, let me just go ahead and take the pre-assessment. If I need to brush up on my skills and do the study guides that I printed out in the unit, then I do that. When I took the assessment, I got a good, I got a pass. So I'm like, okay, that wasn't that hard. I better go ahead and take the exam now. I don't know how long it's going to take to schedule out the exam. So what I did was I looked at the time. They had a great deal of times, and the next available time was in 30 minutes. Okay. I had to pick up my daughter in an hour. So an hour and 30 minutes. So I really didn't have that much time. So I said, let me go ahead and schedule the exam. And I scheduled the exam. Well, in the middle of the time that I had, so I had 30 minutes until the exam started. I pulled up Quizlet and just sat on my couch and began to go through the information. So that was a little touch up that I did in between the pre-assessment and taking the exam. Now, I would suggest this. I would suggest that as soon as you are done the unit, that you go ahead and you take the pre-assessment. I would suggest that if you pass the pre-assessment, that you go ahead and take the exam. I would not suggest that you say, oh, let me just do a little bit more studying and just go through all of these materials because then I'll schedule my exam. I wouldn't suggest that you do that. Because the information you have it now, you just finished reading. Now, like I said previously, you know how you learn best, but I found a lot of times the sooner you take it, the better. Okay. If you've done all the other things, you've been very diligent in studying and reading and making sure that, like I said, you did the quizzes and all those things, you're going to be good. If you pass the pre-assessment, 9 out of 10 times you're going to pass the exam. Why do I say this? I say this because I love the way they've done the exams. What they've done is structure in a way that by you answering the questions, they understand the way it's structured is by the way that you answer the questions, they understand what part of the information that you learn. I love this style of quizzing because it's not really testing me down to like, if I miss this or if I missed this amount of this, it's more or less testing me. Do I understand the information? Okay. And if you're reading for comprehension, you're going to understand the information and you are going to pass. Okay. So I think I covered that. I told you Quizlet. I told you about the pre-assessment. I put here in my notes to take it immediately. That is exactly what I would suggest that you do. The next thing I want to talk to you guys about is some of the setup things. So let's get to that portion. So the first thing is I would go on like the little thing where you take your exam and just read through very quickly all of the things that you have to do. Okay. One of the things that you must do. So like I told you, my exam, I had 30 minutes. I had to download and install and create an account for Zoom. So you do need a Zoom account. I don't know if they might change this over time. So just be sure to check back, make sure they don't change the platforms, make sure all these things work. Girl, the proctor was very nice and was very patient with me because my webcam, I had never used it for this before, so you have to have the external webcam, which I'll show you here in a second. Make sure you have all that stuff set up. Make sure you have a little bit of time. Like I said, I was cutting it very close because I had 30 minutes and even more than 30 minutes. I took some of that time to study, and the other time I was like I set my alarm for 25 minutes after, and then the exam was to start at 30 minutes. So it was like 5 minutes to download the Zoom and everything. Don't be like me. Okay. Download your Zoom ahead of time, set up your account, and make sure that you have a distraction free workspace. Now, good thing for me, nobody was at home. He did tell me to close the door. I will try to show you the space that I did the exam in, but I really want to show you the setup. You know what a distraction-free space looks like. They're going to make you pan around your whole account. So not your whole account, your whole desk area. So don't try to hide any materials or anything like that. Like, just don't even try to do it, because they are going to make you take down. That's the reason why they want an external webcam, so they can make you take it down and look at things if there's any suspicions. You do need your ID card, so your government issue ID card with you. I would have that with you in the space. If you keep it in your car, there's not going to be any time for you to run down to your car and go and get it, so make sure that you have it with you. I mentioned distraction-free space. I want to show you how they want the screen, and you're not allowed to read aloud either. I want to mention that. So if you have a habit of reading the questions aloud, you're not allowed to do that. And I would imagine you're not allowed to do that, because you could be like reading it aloud to the person in the next room, and they could be nodding, trying to tell you what answer, and they don't want that. Okay, so you're not allowed to read aloud. So if you read aloud, practice not reading aloud, because you're not allowed to do it. I believe you are allowed to take bathroom breaks, but all those rules are there. You can go ahead and look at all those things. I didn't take any bathroom breaks. I didn't put any water in there. I just had like my regular desk and just went ahead and took the quiz. It took me about 25 minutes, so not that long. But I want to show you how they wanted the space set up, because this part was it took me a little bit longer because I didn't understand what he was asking for. So let me show you. Okay, so I know you see myself looking a little ghetto, but girl, it looked even more ghetto than it does right now, okay? So I had it like in my closet, which like my closet, my little desk area, my other little desk area, and it was like in between toilet paper, because I had to figure out the setup really quick, and I didn't think about this setup. So I want to show you this one. This is also on my desk. I have my laptop propped up on, girl, some little canvases or whatever. Okay, but you see how this is kind of over my head. I will show you my screen here in a second. They want to see both your face and the monitor. So you just play around with it until they can see what they need to see. And I'm going to show you my screen just so you can get an idea, like I said, so you can play around with this setup without looking like a fool like I was going to get looking, okay? So I hope that you can see my screen. So let's see. I think you can see my screen now. So you see me here, right? And you see my keyboard. They need to be able to see both your keyboard. They can see, they're going to be able to have control over your screen. So being able to see your screen doesn't matter. Just your keyboard in this way and your face. So this is a bad angle. This is not high enough. So hold on. Girl, this is how I was. I was literally up here trying to figure this out. It's like, look, you see what I mean? If I was y'all, just play around with this. I need to put it at a higher. We'll show you the setup that I had, but you get it. They want to be able to see from this angle, like this. Wait, hold on. Like this. This is how they want to be able to see. They want to be able to see both the keyboard and then your face. And remember, this part of your face, so the front part of your face, they can actually see on the monitor, but this is what they need to see. So I forgot the microphone in the front for that part, but you can still hear me, so we're gonna go with it, okay? The next thing I want to show you is, and like I just said, make sure you play around with all that stuff. Make sure you get the right angle, and you're not like me and wasting time, okay? Because the proctor could have been like, baby, reschedule when you have everything together, and he was very kind, and he did not do that. I can even see here, like you see this bookcase behind me. This webcam, let me just go ahead and show it to you. Here it is. I told you guys about it in the other video. This is the one that's approved by WGU. I know that there are others, but this one for sure. I'm not going to link it because I'm not trying to get any commission or anything. I'm just showing you the webcam. I'll put it on the screen. You can go and find it. I got it from Amazon, okay? So it has this little thing in the back here. I don't really know what it's for, but this is what I use it for, okay? So you can like tuck it. Let me show you. You can like tuck it under stuff. See? So this is not a high enough view, I can already tell you right now. But if my laptop was like sitting right here and the laptop was a bit higher, my little desk, not like my little makeshift desk, but my actual like lap desk, it still doesn't bring my laptop up high enough. But if you have something that could bring the laptop up here, and then they can still see like this part of your face, and like I said, this part of your face can be seen on the monitor, it's good. So just make sure that you play around with this before your exam. So if you only have 30 minutes, make sure that you play around with this before your exam, because like I said, the proctor could very well be like, reschedule when you're ready. I showed you this, And I think that's it. So I just want you to be encouraged. That's why I'm making this video. I will leave the comment section open for this, for questions that are related to this video. So if you have questions about accelerating, if you have questions that are within reason that I can answer, like, I'm not going to do the work for you. If they're like legitimate questions, I'll answer them. If not, there are forums for that, okay? I mean, there are forums that you can just go and chat around. But this is for those of you who are looking to accelerate, who are like me, and you spent a lot of time doing the wrong things or doing much of nothing, and you want to get this done now. I'm telling you, 6 months, I know you can get a degree done in 6 months. I know I mentioned this in the other video, but it is really possible. It is a lot of work, however, okay? Like, you're really working, you're really studying, you're really reading, you're really taking quizzes and stuff. Most days. I have one day where I don't do any work, but most days, okay? And like I said, it's not like this is all I get to do. You know, I have a family, I have a job, I have things to do. I'm making this video for you right now. So excuses is not the thing that is going to propel us into the place that we want to be. Okay, your hard work and dedication to doing the thing that God has called you to do really is. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you have a question, ask a question, and I'll see you in the next one.